Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Unless of course you're new here. And if you are, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you everything that you need to know about the 2023 Cfmoto 300Nk. This is one of the best beginner bikes that you can get your hands on for this model year, and it's loaded with features that the Japanese brands just don't bring to the table unless you fork up a little bit of extra dough. But for Cfmoto, they're not having that. Their motto, word for word, as soon as you go to their website, is ride without compromise. If you want to see me review this motorcycle, check out this video right here. If you're only here for an exhaust sound check, fast forward to this part of the video right here. Anyway, let's talk about it. Let's start off talking about the tires, since that's the very first thing at the forefront of the motorcycle. We have a set of aluminum alloy wheels wrapped in a set of Migra S1 tires. Migra, I don't know how to say it. Features a 110 in the front and a 140 in the rear. Stopping power is provided by a 292mm single disc up front with a 4-piston caliper, and out back we have a 220mm single disc with a single piston caliper. Up at the front is a 37mm fork for improved sprung mass and stronger frame rigidity up high. And out back we have a singular shock in the rear that is mounted dead in the middle of the frame. No adjustment on this other than setting the preload, which will adjust the spring stiffness. That means that you can fine tune it for your specific weight. Not a lot of storage on this bike at all. Really the only space is underneath this seat and this one here. If you want to see how to get that seat off, you can watch this video up here in the top right corner. Fuel tank on this motorcycle comes out to 3.3 gallons, and with an estimated 70 miles per gallon, I've got this bike ballparked getting about 200 to 210 miles to a tank before you have to fill up. Seat height on this bike is a measly 31.2 inches, which might sound kind of high compared to some of the other offerings out there. Because of the bike's narrow frame, you can see that it makes it very easy to get both your feet firmly planted on the ground so you can be confident wherever you come to a stop. And just to kind of add to the seat height, we've only got a 333-pound curb weight, which is incredibly lightweight. And now let's talk about the beating heart of this motorcycle. This engine right here is a 292cc fuel-injected, liquid-cooled, dual overhead cam single cylinder. It has an output horsepower rating of about 29 and puts out a meager 18.8 foot-pounds of torque, which again makes this an excellent candidate for a beginner bike. And to add to the beginner bike narrative, it's mated to a 6-speed gearbox featuring Cfmoto slipper clutch. The advantage of the slipper clutch is that it actually assists you in preventing or mitigating rear wheel screeching whenever you're downshifting. It doesn't totally eliminate it, but if you practice rev matching with this motorcycle, which you will inevitably end up doing anyway with larger displacement machines if you move up in size, this can be an excellent training tool to help you build your confidence and that muscle memory to do rev matching in future. And this feature right here is one of my favorites because I much prefer this over what I call the Japanese diving board, or the whale tail that hangs off of most Japanese motorcycles. I believe it has something to do with manufacturer requirements and guidelines, but I hate the way the big fender off the back looks. Believe me, I'm not a huge fan of this either, but I prefer it over the big fender. They both do the same job. All right, next I want to talk about the controls as well as the dash and show you all the lights on this machine. And just in case anybody asks, this is like a 1938 Packard, I think. Yeah. This is available at the dealership that I work at. If you would like to inquire, please call the number on the screen and a store associate will help you out. Anyway, back to this. So you can see on their switchgear, all the buttons are done very well. Everything has nice positive clicks to it. And it's pretty intuitive and easy to use. All the symbols make sense, the layout makes sense. Everything on these bars are just done right. And that brings us to our 5-inch TFT color display. This has a bunch of great built-in features, but one thing I do want to touch on is this mode switch right here and what that does to your display. So I cannot stress this enough. This mode button and what happens on the screen here has no impact on what happens with your throttle. In my initial video, I was under the impression that it had selectable ride modes, but all it does is changes the way your screen looks, which these can actually be pretty useful if you're doing a track day or more spirited riding out in the twisties. Really what you want to focus on is your RPMs and your speed. Those are the two main things you're going to be caring about. But whenever you're trying to ride more economical, you get some more readouts like engine temp, fuel's a little bit easier to read, your tachometer's kind of out of the way, and you got your speed. as your main focus. So I like that they give you the option to change the screen, but I don't like that it says mode on it. I wish this just said display. It's a little misleading, but that's really my only gripe about this entire motorcycle. These buttons are nice, big, and bulky, which make them very easy to use even if you're wearing gloves. And you can see if I hold down the menu button here, I can get into this main screen, and you can see I've got information, navigation, telephone, settings, and I can get in here and change a couple of things around. Not that you would really want to, but yeah, you have the option to customize it if you so choose. Telephone basically just shows you any messages, phone calls, contact, anything like that as far as I know. And then the navigation is actually a turn-by-turn system that is operated through the Cfmoto Ride app, which you do have to pair that application to your motorcycle using the VIN, and I believe the communications between the TFT and your phone start right after that. Also, if you're seeing these lights over here, don't worry about that. There's nothing going on there. The motorcycle is off, so it's not getting signals from the engine or the ABS module to let it know that those are actually functioning. And if I go into my information right here, I actually get some pretty nice data readouts, like my voltage, my coolant temp, any warning lights that might show up. I've also got a service button I can click into, and it tells me my remaining distance until my next service is due, which is super handy so you don't have to keep track of it. Then we have our mile info, which, I mean, you can kind of guess what those do, and then the version of software that we're running. So yeah, I want to show you guys the accent lighting on this motorcycle. Hopefully this doesn't bug out my camera too much, but you can see that is a very nice accent LED housed up in that bulb. Definitely makes it stand out, gives it a very unique appearance. And here are all your turn signals. You got the fronts right there. And there's your rear tail section. So yeah, hopefully this gives you guys a better idea on what these look like. I know it's not in person, but hey, this is the best I can do for you.
And right quick before we wrap this up, I'm gonna give you guys an exhaust clip. So here we go with that.
That pretty much wraps up the video, guys, on this little Cfmoto 300Nk for the 2023 model year. I hope you learned something, and if this helped you make a decision on purchasing one of these or going to even look at one, please let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with anyone who might want to see it, and leave a like on it, pretty please. And if you subscribe to my channel, there's a good chance that more people who are like you will find this content. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button. That's all I've got. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and ride safe.